Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil Alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Aqibatun lil mustaqim wala udwana ila ala dalimin. Wassalatu wassalam ala rasulina Muhammadan wa alihi wa sahbihi wa ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh lil ikhwani wa wati fi din. Salamu ala mani teba huda lil ikhwani wa wati fi Afrika, Europa wa America wa kulli makan. Highly salam bikum, my dear brothers and sisters, those who show up in the future, or may look at this broadcast, inshallah ta'ala. We continue the series on Surah Al-Fatih. Everybody's just finishing with Eid. Perhaps it's a bad time. And I understand that, especially in the West, you have to go back to work. And here as well in Morocco, and everybody's pretty wore out from Eid this year. It's very, very hot here in Fez, Morocco right now. It's almost about, it's in the hundreds. Very, very hot and humid and dangerous kind of weather. And we're expecting rain today, and alhamdulillah, if that comes about. Assalamu alaikum, my dear sister Amina. So we'll continue on the tafsir of this beautiful, beautiful surah. And as you know, the Fatih is an important aspect in the life of the Muslim. Even though he may not be experiencing some of it, but he has hopes that the Fatih will come in his lifetime. And he does. He has been rest assured by Prophet ﷺ in the hadiths that this Fatih will arrive and will come, and it will be extensive, and it'll be worldwide, and it'll be one ruling government under the Sharia Allah Ta'ala. And so we all hope and wish for that, and that we could be part of that. So with that said, we will start here. The fourth and fifth surah, ayats in Surah Fatih, which is Surah 49, is very interesting as well. I talked a little bit about 4 last time. And what I find interesting is that we have a pattern here that's been set, and we have 2 words in particular in it in the Arabic language that is very, very important, and they have sub-meanings to it, and we'll get into that. But as you notice here in number 4 here, and I have it here in Arabic, and I won't read it off. We don't have Arabic speakers except Amina and maybe some others, but the brothers and sisters who are here in Morocco and elsewhere and Dola Arabi will be able to kind of grasp on what's going on. They know this particular surah and this ayah. So I'll say this in English. It is he who sent down tranquility into the hearts of the believers, that they may add faith to their faith. For to Allah belong the forces of heavens and the earth, and Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. Brothers and sisters, we have this word in English, tranquility, as sakina. It's a very powerful word. It has a multitude of meanings. And I'll get deeper into that. But right now, we ponder the verse, and you see, in time of tranquility, in time of need, in time of fear, apprehension, doubt, whatever the situation may be, Subhanahu wa ta'ala has a way to bring that tranquility to the hearts of the believers. And again, here he talks about this, and you remember some of the other ayats in the Quran that we have talked about issues like this, the sakina is very important because it does bring this type of tranquility to the mu'mineen. As you heard me say last week, I talked about there are ayats in the Quran that are specified for this particular word, this beautiful Arabic word, as-sakina. And you play those at nighttime, especially with a brother who's reciting it very well. It brings the whole household into deep slumber. I like to play this quite a bit, and it brings a beautiful, beautiful sleep to you. And so here we have to understand something about this particular verse. The Muslim must understand that subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah's power is efficient enough to vanquish the disbelievers. Because here the Fatah is dealing with, again, the disbelievers and the Muslims, and they're trying to triumph over the disbelievers. And remember the history again, we go back to those who do not remember or cannot recall what this is that the disbelievers were now trying to take out Islam altogether, wipe it out. And then you have the Arab tribes, some of them, and you have many Jewish and Christian tribes as well, who tried to get together with the pagan Arab tribes to wipe out the Muslims. So this is something that it brought a lot of apprehension and fear to the Muslims. And so subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about this tranquility that he sent down to them. But one of the things that we have to always understand about the verses in the Quran, subhanahu wa ta'ala has his method and he has his way. And we have to always ask a good question like this. Well, subhanahu wa ta'ala is all knowing. He has a power. Why don't he just throw all the disbelievers into the hellfire right now and allow the believers to be on the earth? That's not what works, my brothers and sisters. Subhanahu wa ta'ala put us on the earth. He allow us to have free will, meaning that he allow you to either believe or don't believe. But you take the consequences for your disbelief. But he's allowing us to have this free will. Same thing as far as the propagation of his religion is the same thing. He could vanquish the disbelievers in a matter of seconds. But he's not going to do that. And here again, the wisdom subhanahu wa ta'ala in this instance allows a movement to fight and to spread the religion. Because if he does it all for us, then you're not going to have faith. But when you struggle in it to bring forth the deen, the religion, and to make it good and to spread it and to bring the other human beings to it, this has more meaning because then you have a part in it. If you just, all you have to do is sit down in your chair, eat your meal, and you let subhanahu wa ta'ala vanquish all of our enemies without a shot, without any work on the part of any other person, it's not going to have the same meaning. So he allows us to develop the religion through our own means. This is why we have to listen to what our imams of the country. We have to listen to our scholars. And we have to be well acquainted with the Quran. This is important that we have to have this knowledge in order to make our religion the best. When we are deficient in even the book that we say that we love and we admire and that we follow and we deficient in it a lot, our religion takes a back seat. And this is what we're having today. We have a lot of ignorance about the Quran. It's unfortunate, brothers and sisters, that it's this way. Very unfortunate. And our sister here, Amina, said the Arabic is not clear. The Arabic is not clear. Oh, you told me the sign that probably what I put. Yeah, okay. I don't know how to get it better. I guess I got to work at that to make it better and stuff like that. I will look at that and see how I can get that better. And one of the things that this Hayat 4 in particular is talking about making Islam, this tafsir, making Islam supreme in the world. Again, the struggling to make it supreme as part of this. And that struggle, along with Sakina, the tranquility, they work together. Subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing tranquility to the hearts of believers that they may have faith in their faith. But again, how can you have this faith if only Subhanahu wa ta'ala does everything for us, we do nothing? You cannot have that. You will have faith because you know Subhanahu wa ta'ala is true. You know he's there and he vanquished the enemies in front of us. But it won't be the same. But when you toil, you scramble, you have trials and tribulations into spreading this, your faith increases or decreases. And you jump out of the religion or you get stronger. According to your nature and what you yourself have determined on what you're going to do in the religion. If you want to be a moderate Muslim, meaning that you only take some things and you pray, you make Ramadan, and basically that's it. You don't study and everything. Then you that's what you want to do, and you have to deal with Subhanahu wa ta'ala, the consequences in the hereafter. If you want to take the religion fundamentally very strong in this day and time, as in many other eras, they're going to fight you for that. Because you got to always remember something, my brothers and sisters. Subhanahu wa ta'ala has talked about this, that the disbelievers will spend their last dollars trying to bring you to disbelief. They'll do everything to bring you to disbelief. As I said before, they don't fight the fire worshiper, the man who worshiped the ants. They don't fight that. Even some of the most who believe in the solstice and sun worshiping. Some even have a sexual religion or worship where they worship the private parts of the man and woman. We have all kinds of things running around in the world today. They don't interfere with that. They only interfere with the Muslims. And they're trying to bring the whole world into a area of corruption. And so this is what you, as a fundamental Muslim, again, the fundamentalism is not what we're talking about, meaning that you are, because they tell you when you're a fundamentalist, meaning that you follow the prophet and you follow the Quran, you're a terrorist. Don't believe that. And this word they like to use so often is not even defined very, very good, because what is classified as a terrorist in the United States is not classified as a terrorist maybe in Tunisia. So we and the person who doesn't fire a shot, person who doesn't get involved in any type of politics, a person who's not advocating even the harm of another human being, all he does is study the book and the Sunnah, and he puts this in his life. He goes to the masjid. The same disbelievers will come back and say, this guy's a terrorist. So now we have the guy who goes to the masjid, he's a terrorist. But how about the ones who actually drop bombs? They're equating the both. The disbelievers say that the masjid is basically the epitome of terrorism. We know as Muslims this is not true, but I'm trying to make a point, is that we must struggle in order to make our religion supreme from disbelievers like this. And this is what Subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about, and like Said Qutb was talking about in his tafsir, in this particular surah, Surah Al-Fatih, because it's difficult. There's a lot of things that happen to the Muslims at this time. And here, number 4, the struggle in the cause of Allah Ta'ala's giving themselves to this cause, their life and wealth if need be. This is difficult. Again, the struggle, meaning you have to call yourself basically to jihad. And again, jihad, not according to what MSNBC, how they use it, and CNN and these other disbelieving stations, and they have them all over the world. Here, the struggling is for Subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, the struggle of keeping your faith and fighting shaitan. That is a massive battle. More powerful than that when you go on the battlefield. Because here you have an element where they take you to the hellfire. And you have an element where it's attacking you single day. Every single day, this shaitan and his minions are attacking Muslims every single day in the heart, in your actions, putting things in your mind. This is a war and a jihad that is sahih, meaning it's correct. And this is what we have to fight in this cause to defeat this type of thing. And so this is one of the aspects of this. It's a struggle in the cause of Allah, giving themselves to this cause and their life and wealth if need be. Sakina, this is part of this because you're struggling. This struggle brings you gratitude. It brings you prosperity. It brings you sakina. And this is important for the life of the Muslim who are actually practicing it. This is the key, brothers and sisters, actually practicing it. And number 5 here, stressing the ultimate reward for this sacrifice is the hereafter. Brothers and sisters, again, one of the most important aspects of our life is to reach the hereafter. We cannot reach the hereafter by taking orders from the disbelievers. We cannot, or following their ways and means. That's going to send you to the hellfire. We have a book, we have a guide, we have a prophet, we have the 3 favorite generations. We have umpteen amount of scholars from every ear that we can follow to bring us to the straight path to lead us to the hereafter. But many of us are not following anything. We're only saying we're Muslim and that's it. We don't even follow our prophet, alayhi salam. We have people who are not even following the Quran as well, don't even read it. They don't even know anything about the Sahaba or the 3 favorite generations. They don't know anything about that. The scholars, they don't have a clue. They don't even understand what's going on. They say they're Muslim and that's all. And they say, well, that's all I need to be is just say this and I'm on my way. Well, you're fooling yourself, brothers and sisters who think this way, because it's not right. You're not struggling. You must struggle fi sabilillah. You must have this. Now, I'm going to put the next Surah 5 in this because this is important for the brothers and sisters as well. Our dear sister Amina said that this it's not clear. It's kind of small, I think, in the print here. But you can, there's a way of making it bigger. I don't know how to do this. Again, I'm a dunce when it comes to the computer. I have to learn how to do this. But this is the 5th ayah in Surah Fetah. And Subhanahu wa ta'ala says in English that he may admit men and women who believe to gardens beneath which rivers flow, to dwell therein for aye, and remove their ills from them, and that is in the sight of Allah the highest achievement. This is a very beautiful reminder. He says that he will admit men and women who believe to the gardens. Now you're talking about going to Jannah. And this, again, this is talking about the Muslims who do good work, because we have Muslims, as you heard me say, we have Muslims who say they're Muslims. But what are they doing? They're selling drugs. They're involved in gangster activities. They're involved in murder. They're involved in stealing and robbing. We have all of that. Subhanahu wa ta'ala is making you see this verse many times. Subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a distinction between those who are doing this and versus those that he's talking about here, who are doing good works. Khairat in the Arabic language. And he will admit them. He may admit them according to his permission. But we have problems in this area, and this is why Subhanahu wa ta'ala is making a distinction. When you hear the guy say I'm a Muslim and he's a gangster, you know the guy say he's a Muslim, but he's a drug dealer. You say he's Muslim, but he has nothing to do with Islam. He doesn't even pray. He fights the Muslim. This here verse tells you that he's not going to be part of the khairat from Allah Ta'ala. He's not going to be part of it. He can go in his life and continue to say he's Muslim, doing what he's going to do until Subhanahu wa ta'ala makes judgment on him. But if you look at this here, the people who are not following and who don't have an understanding of this verse, they should be very, very mindful of that. It's more to Islam and more than just saying, I'm a Muslim. You must practice the faith accordingly and not just say, I'm a Muslim, I pray, I make a psalm, and I do Ramadan. It's more to it than that, my brothers and sisters. And we said here about stressing the ultimate reward for the sacrifice is the hereafter. That's important, brothers and sisters. I can't stress that. Our ultimate goal is not to be rich. It's not to have all the trappings of the dunya. It's to reach the hereafter. This is the most important aspect. We must do this. We must fight in the cause of Allah, and we must perfect our behavior and our mannerisms and our way of life in order to get this way. And the way we get there is by following what Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has told us to do in the Quran and listening and obeying our Prophet alayhi salatu. This will get you to that promised land, bi'idhnillah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So we have to see this again for what it is. And here, okay. Subhanahu wa Ta'ala allows those to choose Islam for their salvation. Remember, I was talking about this. Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has made it that the human being can choose or whatever. If he doesn't want to be this, he want to be a fire worshiper, he can. But he suffered the consequences because he sent messengers everywhere. There's no excuse. This is important because this covers the tafsir. Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is not forcing anybody. That's why he orders the Muslims in the book, you don't force anybody to be a Muslim. There's no compulsion in the religion, as he said. See, he said there's no compulsion. So we can't go out with a sword and go after people on the street and force them to come to Islam. He did not ordain that. He allows people to choose what they want. Those who don't want to be Muslim will suffer consequences in the hereafter, but you must leave them be. Now, of course, when they come after you, that's a different situation. You fight them, and you fight in the cause of Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to make sure that his law is supreme. And there's other conditions too. Number 7 here, those who believe to engage in jihad and those who believe to decline to do so. This is the Muslims. We have this now. We have a different situation today than we had 1400 years ago, or 700, 800 years when the Muslims were in constant battles to keep the religion going. There's Muslims who will engage in jihad. Now, jihad, in this sense, meaning to fight in the cause of Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, not the jihad to kill, to purify the nafs and so forth. Here, we're talking about fighting shaitan, the munafiqeen, who's the hypocrites, and the kafirin, who are the disbelievers. We have those Muslims who don't want no part of that. And they rather sit back in the back and not fight them. Now, in today's era, we're not living where we can go and pick up a sword and go fight. That's not what we're talking about here either. Because in order for us to do that, remember the Sharia. We must have what? The approval of the Imam of the country. And the fatwa was issued out saying that we would go to war, and approval comes from him. So, and we don't have that because the Muslim countries today are not going into war with anybody. Assalamu alaikum, my dear brother King. Thank you for showing up, my dear brother. And the Muslims today are in a dire straits because they don't understand the jihad has been hijacked again by the West and by the disbelievers. Disbelievers have made jihad even a bad word and even changed the word around in the meaning. But we have Muslims who decline to be this way. We have Muslims who don't talk. We have all kinds of things. We have a variety of problems why Muslims don't talk. And again, in today's time, we're in the trials and tribulation. It's very difficult to talk. If you live in America, you can't talk to openly support certain groups outside the United States. That's terrorism. They get you for that. So we have to be mindful of that. If you are too fundamentally Muslim, then you may not have a job. Even in Muslim lands, some is like that. They won't hire you. They'll only hire modern Muslims. All these type of things here add to the problems of why jihad today, as we understand it, is not working very well. And again, because it's been hijacked, the disbelievers want to tell everybody to say, look, the jihad means you kill us without any provocation. That's not the case, because the strongest jihad, the ones that the most telling is dealing with our own selves and fighting shaitan, the devil. Those two there, because the devil attack you every day. The disbelievers, he's out there, but he's not coming in your house at your salat, is he? No, he's not. The devil is. When you wake up in the morning and somebody's telling you you stay in bed, it's not the disbelievers. It's who? Shaitan and the Shaitan. When you have evil spirits entering your house to go after people inside there, it's not the disbelievers. He's outside somewhere. It's Shaitan. You see what I mean? The greatest enemy that you face is the devil and the Shaitan, the demons. Those are your greatest adversaries. And Subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that he is your great enemy. And you beware of him. See? So again, brothers and sisters, we must look at this for what it is. These first two particular ayats I talk about here, 4 and 5, in Surah Fatah, Surah 48, again deals with this sakina, being tranquility and being able to propagate the religion, to understand that Subhanahu wa ta'ala he can vanquish enemies, but he wants you to take his religion to make it supreme through the world. This is our cause that we must do as Muslims, and we must do it the best way we can. Now, you say, well, yeah, I don't understand exactly what you're talking about. Are you talking about like with MSNBC, we should go get a sword and go into South America where everyone's shot? No. What we're doing now, we're using modern technology, aren't we? This is spreading the religion. By me even sitting here and you listening and so forth, and you doing what you're doing, we're spreading religion without a shot. You don't see look, this is being transported probably to many parts of the world, perhaps. I'm not holding a sword to anybody. I may be reaching some people and without a shot being fired or a bomb being laid. You see what I mean? This is what we talk about here. And this is the best of jihad, because right now we're not in a position to win any wars according to the way we are set up. We are not ready to fight the disbelievers at all. It's not time for that. And when time comes, we will know it. And who knows when this is going to be, but we know it's going to happen because our Prophet ﷺ has already told us that. Now let's look at number 8 here. The understanding that the higher reward for this struggle with our lives and wealth in the cause of Allah, the cause of jihad, fi sabil Allah. Brothers and sisters, the wealth is important. Again, this is a jihad. You only have $10 US in your pocket right now. And what do you do with it? According to the system that you live in the United States right now, it's hard to feed your families. We know this. Very, very difficult to feed the family. So you have to look at that. You have children who need to eat. It's your responsibility, and you have a wife that you must take care of. That $10 should go to the family, because you cannot afford to give this money to to a charity where you may, but you have children. They can't fend for themselves. You're obligated to take care of the wife. So you struggle in that regard. And there's a lot of variables to this. And what is said here, understanding that the high reward for the struggle with their lives is in the cause of Allah. It's true. But again, don't misinterpret this and think about MSNBC and these racist television stations there in the United States and in Europe as well. Here, in the cause, meaning what I'm doing today, this is a jihad. Brothers and sisters, this is a jihad. I'm trying to reach our brothers and sisters, and I'm trying to reach many others in other places. This is a jihad without a shot. And it's in the cause of Subhanahu wa ta'ala. I talk about his book and our Prophet ﷺ. This is a jihad. You see what I'm talking about. So get that understanding about jihad, fi sabili Allah ta'ala. Get that understanding. And don't let the people hijack that, meaning you have the right now to kill. That's not what we're talking about here. Now, here's the part here that many don't quite understand. When we talk about here is our sisters. and the brothers too. But in this instance, we're talking about here, in this instance, the Muslimah can receive equal reward for her sacrifices of her husband and worldly gains. Now, according to the two here, the tranquility also is for our sisters. Our sisters receive equal reward of their husband. If their husband is struggling, fi sabilillah, he is fighting out, she gets that reward as well. I want our sisters to understand this, and you brothers understand this as well. This is not only a man thing, it's a sister thing too. Because the sister who's there at home, who's taking care of your children, that's not her job to pick up a weapon. It's not her job to go out to fight the disbelievers out there on the street. It's not her, because she's not equipped physically to do things like that. You are. But she gets the same reward as you. So when you go out your house and you have to deal with the disbelievers, and this jihad to propagate our religion, she gets that reward as well. This is the beauty of our religion, because Subhanahu wa ta'ala understands her sacrifices as well. When that man has to go 3-4 months, it's hard on her too, because now she has to be the man and woman of the house. And there may be things that she needs, the worldly gain. She may want more clothing. She may need more, personal clothing of some sort. She may need perfumes, and she wants certain things, but she forego this because they had to spend the money because the husband had to go out and he had to do things. Fi sabi Allah Ta'ala. She gets the same reward, brothers and sisters. This is important that you know this. And our sisters, they understand this as well. You get that reward. For when your husband fights jihad, fi sabilillah, she gets the same reward. Just like this here. This is a jihad. You're trying to propagate. My wife, even though she's not on the station, but she gets reward as well. You see? So it's important to understand that. She gets this by encouraging her husband to engage in jihad. Sisters, it's important. You encourage your husbands in this effort for jihad. Strengthen his religion as well. Encourage him. The brothers today can't even get up for Fajr prayer. We know this. You sisters, you get up, you encourage him, because it is a jihad. Especially this time of year, you only get 3 hours of sleep, especially you live in Europe. In Alaska and places like this, you only get a couple hours. Even here in Morocco, me and my wife talk about this all the time. This is like I lay my head down and whammo, I turn one way, it's time to get up. And it's very difficult, especially when you get older, you're not younger anymore, it's very difficult. But by our wives encouraging, our Muslim wives are encouraging our brothers to engage in jihad. Again, strengthening his religion, strengthening him when he leaves to go out, so that way he knows how to deal with disbelievers, encouraging him, giving him the right guidance and support. All this goes in her credit as well. Even though she's not out there fighting for him or fighting with him, she gets the same credit. This is important, brothers and sisters. She gets the same credit. And so we must understand that. Now, here is the kicker. And we have this because we have sisters who take the worldly gain in this more so than they should. Not encouraging them from it. There's no reward for the Muslim who does that. The Muslimah who does not push the husband, who do not encourage him to be active in jihad. Active in jihad, again, brothers and sisters, again, is the 4 elements. Not making bombs to kill. That's criminal. Or to go get a gun and start shooting people on the street. This is not jihad. That's criminal. But we're talking about the 4 basics. The cleaning ourselves, fighting shaitan, the hypocrites, and the disbelievers. And we do this without a shot because we're not equipped at this time to make any types of jihad to fight the disbelievers and dislodge them. We are not strong enough. Right now, we have Muslims who don't pray. That's a jihad. Your wife, your Muslim wife, she encouraged you to go out there and to be the best Muslim, to make an example. This is a jihad. she gets credit for that. But when she discourages her husband because of worldly things, see, she says, well, you know, I don't like to see my husband go out. I want him next to me. I don't want him to go out because the disbelievers are out doing this. I want to keep him inside the house. Now, we're not talking about dangerous situations, brothers and sisters. I'm not talking about, you got people sitting there, disbelievers, which like we had, I think in Arizona a couple of years back, we were sitting out in front of the masjids with guns. No, that's not jihad, to walk in there and get shot. No, that's not what we're talking about here. But we're talking about things where we have non-violent situations, and your wife encourages you to be the best Muslim you can. Go out there and be an ambassador for Islam. This is a jihad. She's encouraging you. But when she tell you, she doesn't encourage you. She doesn't even try to get you up for Fajr prayer. You see what I mean? She doesn't even, she knows that you are a ragtag. You're weak in the religion. She doesn't even fight you for that. This is discouraging. She doesn't get no reward for that. She gets a sayat for that. You see? So this is, we have to understand that, brothers and sisters. And again, as I said, the Muslim receives the same reward as her mujahid husband, the one who struggles. This is important. She receives that same reward, even though she's not out there, even though she's not going to the masjid and so forth and to engage the disbelievers. Her husband is, but she's encouraging him. She's giving him the impetus to be a strong Muslim. She gets credit for this. This is a reward for her as well. Because you know the woman's path to Jannah is much easier than that of the man. It's not required to go fight wars. It's not required for her to leave the house to go fight disbelievers out on the street. That's not her job. It's not her job to get on TV to fight the disbelievers. It's not her job to go out on the street corners and make dawah. It's not her job for that. She's not equipped basically for that. That's not her job. So she has an easier path. But subhanahu wa ta'ala also has their stumbling blocks for her when she doesn't do certain things. Encourage the husband, so forth and so on. And we're talking about this now, and perhaps people don't know this. And so that's why we have to round our education as far as Islam goes. Now, important here, brothers and sisters, our sisters must maintain her faith, her love and devotion to her husband on jihad. Brothers, I can't say this and stress this more. Our wives have to maintain their faith. What we see many times, especially in America, which is very, very troubling. We have brothers marrying Muslimas in Muslim lands. They bring these sisters to the United States. They were strong in Morocco. They were strong in Egypt. They were strong in Saudi Arabia. But this minute they come to the United States, they become weak. They begin to dress like the disbelievers. They begin to talk back to their husbands. They begin to hang around with disbelieving women. They begin to leave the house without his permission. You see what I mean? The sister, in order for her to gain the rewards and to also be admitted under 5, meaning he may admit men and women who believe to the gardens beneath which rivers flow, to dwell within, and so forth, remove the ills from them that incite. This achievement here has to be a whole coordinated effort on her part. It's not only her, the man too. I'll get to that. But she must maintain her faith for her husband, for subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if she's devoted, then he is going to be stronger as well. Her love and devotion to her husband on jihad. She strengthens him. She encourages him because she is strong herself. How can you ask your husband to get up to pray when you don't pray? You see? This is what I mean. It is not your job, dear sisters, to get me up for Fajr. Now, look, we have situations where maybe I'm all night, and this has happened to me in the past, but not much, where you make your tahajjud prayer, and you were very tired, you got up, and then you fell asleep. It's happened. And I didn't even hear the adhan. And my wife comes and says, the adhan. She came to wake me up. But that was a different situation. We have situations now where our sisters wake up the husband every day, and many of them don't even want to get up. That's not her job. That's not her job to do that. But if she does it, she gets reward for that. Okay? When she lets him sit there and she doesn't encourage him, she doesn't force him to be a better Muslim, she gets a demerit for that. So sisters, you must engage in jihad too. When you have a husband who does not do his job, You must take the mantle and force him to do his job. This is your jihad. You get rewarded for that. If you don't do nothing, now I'm not talking about fighting him and you have a certain amount of time. If he doesn't want to do certain things, then of course, we have remedies for that, but that's another class altogether. Now, maintaining the marital home so that his return, he finds peace in it and sanctuary from the honors, the horrors, supposed to be horrors of war. Our sisters maintain our houses for us, have something where our husbands come home, have something to look forward to. This is, she gets, the credit she gets for this is massive. And if he's out in war, especially now, you read stories of what's happening in the U.S. I cannot believe some of the things I've seen on YouTube now. These stories that pop up. These men go to war, and the man is not even gone 5 minutes. She's already having a multitude of affairs in the community with many, many men. It's claiming, well, my husband's not here to take care of me in the bed, so it's my right. I'm taking lovers until he comes back. Here, the Muslims, we don't do that. We're better than that. We maintain the marital home so on his return he finds peace in it. That's important, brothers and sisters, that we have this. And we stress this in Islam. We must do this. And in this system, the redemption of sins is one of the rewards under Hayat 5. By doing those things, my dear sisters, you get this big reward by doing that. Maintaining your faith. When you stray from Islamic principles, you stray, you get a lot of demerits for it. And when you stray, you bring that trouble inside your house. Subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like that. You can't get the rewards when you're out doing things that you should not be doing. You see what I mean? This is important. So we have to always look at that, and we have to see it for what it is and make sure that we understand that, our dear sisters, too. Now, the same token of jihad. Well, let's get back into that again. The jihad on our brothers. Your sister wife is inside the house. She's cooking. She's taking care of the kids. She's making sure that your clothes are clean and pressed. She's taking care of the meals. She's making sure that everything is in place inside the house. You have a place to go. Now, your job is to go out there and you propagate the religion. It's time for you to go out there and deal with the disbelievers. It's time for you to go and do things because it's hard. You're physically able to do these things. This is a jihad. You get reward for it. But my dear brothers, let me tell you something. Here's what's happening on this so-called jihad that many are doing. They're leaving to go out to make jihad, but then they fall short of it by having affairs with women they should not have affairs with. Now, you lose your reward for the jihad. You come out of your house, and yes, you show yourself as a good Muslim. You get your reward for that, but in secret, you have a mistress here who's a disbeliever, or even another Muslim that you should not. We cannot date. We cannot have sexual relations with women outside our marriages. You get demerits for this. You get this jihad is no longer jihad. Now it's become criminal in the eyes of Subhanahu wa ta'ala because you violated the hudud of Allah. So you, brother, as well, you must maintain your faith. When you leave the house, your wife trusts you that you're going to go out. You're going to make your jihad. You're going to do what you're supposed to do to come back to feed the family, to nourish the family, and to protect the family. She's not asking you to go out to play around with other women. Be mindful of that. You lose that jihad, brothers. You got to understand that this is not jihad. Now it's criminal. Be mindful of that. Be very mindful of that. And so now we're getting close to the end of this. This verse here is all encompassing. It covers many things. You notice how I went into jihad because jihad is part of this. You cannot be admitted to Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to look at you if you're not committed to jihad in his cause. And again, this jihad, see the things I'm talking about? This is jihad. The wife to get her husband up. The wife to support him when he goes out to work. the wife supports him to go out and to propagate the religion, to be the best Muslim, those type of things. This is a strong jihad, a very strong jihad. So she is offering herself and sacrificing to go to the hereafter under 5, because she's doing what Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has asked her to do. It's important. And that's why I'm talking, because I have to talk about the meaning of jihad and what it means, not the way it has been propagated by the disbelievers. Even in Muslim lands, the disbelievers come in, they try to dirty up the word. They don't even understand the verb, what it means. It doesn't mean to kill. It doesn't mean that. So I'm giving you those instances to make you understand that the path to Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, to the hereafter, is easy for our sisters. And I'm just giving pointers out. I said Qutb talks about the same thing too, to help our sisters to gain that straight, to go to the straight path, and also into the hereafter, bi'idhnillah, by her actions inside the home. It's important. So we talked about some of those actions. She gets the credit for jihad. Her husband goes. If the imam of the country has now designated that we have to go fight against, he gives and say there's wayward Muslims, okay, under the Sharia, we have a right to, if the wayward Muslims are doing things, we have a right to go to engage them, to bring them back according to there's certain rules. The imam says we have to do this, I have to leave. My wife gets as much credit for it as I do. And she doesn't fight me for it. She makes it easy for me to go. She gets credit, the same credit as I get. This is the beauty of our religion. She doesn't have to do anything much except do what Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has asked her to do, to maintain herself, maintain her home, her family, her devotion to Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and devotion to her husband. This is important. Not the modern day woman who will tell you there's no devotion to the husband, there's only devotion for what you want and what you can get out from him. Muslims don't think this way. We don't follow disbelieving women. They're going to the hellfire. Us, we don't follow that. Because you see the trouble you see in America today. Women are not women anymore. They're more like men. And they don't even have the femininity. A lot of it is gone. So therefore, it's easy for them when they go after Muslim women to say, hey, I don't understand you. Why you clean your house? You make him do it. Why are you fixing his food? Tell him to go to McDonald's. This is what many of the disbelieving women this way. They don't want to have nothing to do with the proper guidance of Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because no Christian, there's nothing in the Christian Sunnah for this, or in the Jewish Sunnah to tell the women do this, but they've taken it on their own. So I was giving you those instances so you can understand that. Now, we get into something here. We got into a part now where we're talking about Sakina, and I have to mention this because there's a part in the tafsir where we talk about the Sakina, bringing the tranquility to the hearts of the Muslims. And we have this, so we have this here in Arabic for our brothers and sisters here in Morocco and Algeria and other places who don't speak English, so they can understand what I'm talking about here and so forth. And this in Arabic is very interesting. By the verse 4, basically, part of the tafsir of this is this, and here it is in English. Is tranquility is an expressive word with shadows. Shadows. Be calm and relaxed. Certainty, confidence, reverence, steadfastness, peace, and contentment. Now, let's get to Sakina. I'll say some of this in Arabic for our brothers and sisters. Sakina hiya kalimat jamila. Sakina fi salatina wa jihadina wa fa'alna wa amalina wa ma'a ilakatina ma aduna ada'na wa aidtuna. Okay, I just said in Arabic here that Sakina is all-encompassing in our salat, in our jihad, in our relationships with one another, with our families, and with the enemy and the enemies. This is what we're talking about here. The tranquility, sakina, is all encompassing. Your salat, your behavior, your relationship with your wife and family, your mother and father, with the ummah. All this has to do with sakina. You have to have that in that. You have to enforce that part in you. It's not easy. I understand that. I have problems in this area as well, because when I go to fight and I have to go deal with disbelievers, and you heard me say this many times, I know I have a problem in this area because I don't like the racist Tuba, and I don't like them, and they know that, and I tell them I don't like them, and they come try deliberately to provoke me out on the street. I know that, and I have to be very mindful of this. And even though they're standing there, I have no right to go after them. But they come to do something, of course, that's a different thing, like Malcolm said. Now you deal with them. Like Malcolm said, when they come, the racist Tuba come after you, you fight them, and so forth and so on. But when he's standing there, let him do what he's going to do. If he's standing over, you cannot. But that's what I'm talking about. And hatred, I have to hate vis-a-vis Allah. So I have to have as-sakina in everything that I do. I have to have that tranquility in my heart, vis-a-vis Allah Ta'ala. This is what we talk about. Now, here is the word here in shadows. Now, what do we mean by shadows or in shade? Here is Arabic here for our brothers and sisters. Ani kalimat dilla, dilla, dilla. Here meaning shade. Now, Muslim goes. And this is important because why? The shade that only Subhanahu wa ta'ala can provide. Shade where there is no shade. If you know the hadith of our Prophet, ﷺ, this is important. How you get this shade and the hereafter. If you are following the Quran and the Sunnah, you are a candidate for Dillah. Okay, the shade. Okay, Dillah fi Quran, the shade of the Quran. This is what we're talking about here, because it provides you the shade in the hereafter. This is a very important aspect for our brothers and sisters to get well-rounded in understanding our religion, because you take certain words and they have a deeper meaning to it. Dillah here, the shade in the context of Islam, meaning the shade of the Quran, meaning Subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the shade where there's no shade because of your works in the dunya, because of your fundamentally accepting Islam, and you work to propagate his book and his way and the way of our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. This is why we have that. And now go to the other part. The part of the Dillah fi Quran, the importance of implementing true Islamic law and danger of the people who oppose the implementation of Allah's law. This is the jihad, because we have people who don't want to see the Sharia, his book, and his laws. They don't want to see that. These people are who claim to be Muslims but perpetrate corruption. They say that they want the law of Allah, but they don't. They spread corruption through the land. So we have to be mindful of that. In order for us to get the shade, we must want Islamic law, and then we must engage in the dangers from the people who oppose Subhanahu wa ta'ala's law. You see? And we know that we have hypocrites who, along with the disbelievers, that's why Subhanahu wa ta'ala has told you many times in the Quran that the disbelievers and the munafiqeen, they're Muslims, but he's classified them as the same, and he says he's got hell waiting for them and ready for it. You understand? That's what he says. That's what he says in the Quran. But you have to be mindful of them. And here, to get the shade, you must master, implement, propagate, protect, adhere to the principles of the Quranic Kareem. This is important, again, to understand. To get this shade where there's no shade in the hereafter, you must master, implement, and propagate, protect, adhere to the principle of the Quran. You must, brothers and sisters, in order to get that. You must do that. That's the only way that you can have that. And the same as far as our as the implementation of the Sunnah as well. Here, the implementation of the Sunnah with the emphasis of the propagation of it, the protection of it, the adherence to it, the adoption of it without relinquishing of it due to factors created by our enemies. Now, you heard me say this, we know this, we have brothers, they remove beards, they remove kufi, they remove all Islamic things that you know about them, all because of pressures from the Tuba governments in particular, and from disbelievers, black, white, Mexican. I mean, they come in all shades and color. You must still adhere to this. In order to gain this dillah fi the Quran, you must implement the Sunnah, and you must have it. Remember, I talked about the clothes. Yeah, you in LA, you work, you can't go dressed like me. You cannot do that. You working in LA at McDonald's, how are you gonna dress like me? You cannot, they'll fire you. But if you can maintain a kufi, you wear your uniform, okay? But after, maybe you have to still wear American clothes and stuff like that. You wear a kufi, maintain some parts of the Sunnah, okay? The headdress, making something showing that you are Muslim. This is important, brothers and sisters, that you maintain that. And so, I don't, it's funny. I don't know how I made that bigger, but I just did. I just made that bigger. I don't know what happened here. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, so we're getting close to this. So, my brothers and sisters, I hope that you got this and you understand what I'm getting at here. This particular surah is so important. I talked about the woman and her role in this. These the 4 and 5 and Surah Feta is important, and it deals with her a lot. This is the tafsir of it. On the surface, you may not see that because you look at the wording, but the tafsirs of it, what our scholars have talked about, the woman plays an important part of this, especially 5, where it meant men and women who believe, because the man and woman have the same path. We have different ways to get to it. And woman's path is much easier than that of the man. She's not required to go out to fight for jihad. You are. But she gets the credit for her husband because she encourages it and she helps her husband to implement jihad in his life. She gets the credit for it. This is important. And so, my brothers and sisters, I know this may be mundane for many brothers and sisters who may not want to deal with this, but this is part of Islam, to have knowledge. Because how are you going to understand the Quran on face verses without knowing some of the things I just talked about now? You look at the verse, you don't have a clue by looking at it. You say, okay, yes, man, but what is subhanAllah talking about? You have to understand what he's talking about here about many people because of their actions. Many, a man and woman, the Muslim and the Muslimah into Jannah by the actions and by things I just talked about. And understanding those factors and whatnot. And remember something, brothers and sisters, we have things in our lives that, we have all the errors. We have brothers who, again, and we have who took the religion and feta to a level, and they believed in it. And we fought wars in this. We've done everything that we're supposed to do in these battles to help to make our religion strong. And again, how many wives sit back home waiting on their husbands? They get the credit for their husbands in this jihad and those wars that we fought from the time of the beginning all the way up to about the 17th century. Then the wars that we understand are just about gone. We didn't have that. We have our brothers who are out in the desert, who patrol the desert, and who are out on jihad. Our wives are not required to do that. The men are. She gets the credit for our brothers who dwell there in the Sahara, which is right around the corner from us here where I live in Fez. And I know the Sahara is a beautiful place, but it's a deadly place too. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not a common place for the woman in general. It's a harsh environment, very, very harsh. And right now it's 108, 109, and the desert gets 130, 140, 150. And that's not for her to go out there to patrol it and to go and operate in it. It's his job, but she gets the same credit for it. And our brothers who go out in the desert, they stay there, and that jihad is important. And our sisters, encourage our brothers and they back up our brothers in the play of that. And when our brothers go to engage in jihad, this is important. They go to fight. Our wives get the credit for it. Our brother, these are ancestral brothers way back. This is from Sudan here, and our brothers here when they fought jihad to bring out the best of Islam and to keep out the disbelievers and to propagate our religion. And then one of the greatest jihads is our prayer. Even you see in the desert. This is over here in the so-called Jazira Arab in the Middle East. That's what Jazira Arab is what it is. It's the Middle East. I don't like that term either. Jazira Arab is better. Is better than to say the Middle East. I don't like that. But anyway, this is a jihad and so forth. And so I show you this because I want to give you the indications about all of the things that have happened in the past. Our sisters got the credit for our brothers our sister brothers who did go out to fight, who went out to fight and die and propagate our religion and so forth and so on. So brothers and sisters, I'm glad that I've been able to talk to you today about this beautiful surah and these the verses 4 and 5. So I hope you got something from this today, and I will continue on. Again, I know this is mundane for many of you, but I'm trying to get you to understand the Quran. If you don't read this book, if you don't understand this book, how can you be admitted to the gardens beneath, as Subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about? You must have knowledge in our book, in the Quran, and then implementing it. I'm helping you here. Even I'm helping myself. And we are trying to learn. And so I'm trying to give you something to help you get to the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is not the dunya, the world, to have worldly possessions. It's to reach the hereafter. I'm helping us here in this regard. So please bear with me, our brothers and sisters who are interested in that. Those who are not, I'm not going to fight you for that. I understand. My brother King, thank you for showing up, and my sister, Amina, thank you for showing up. And my dear brothers and sisters, I'll get back to you again on some other verses of this particular beautiful surah, inshallah ta'ala. And if anybody, every time I keep forgetting to put in here the my contact information. Here you can reach me here at, and I'm going to place it here. So if anybody has questions, because I know sometimes people may have things they want to talk about, and I don't give the information for you to send something to me, and please forgive me for that. But you can reach me here. Okay, and I'm putting that in there. And you can reach me here at shabakasunyani@gmail.com. And if you have questions, anything like this, please feel free on a personal level. You want to have or ask me something, and give me something where you can contact me with that. So with that said, I will leave you with the beautiful words of Jannah. Salamu alaikum. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.